Welcome to The New Creatives. I'm Jordan.
And I'm Austin.
This is a show about creative people and the process of creative work.
This week, we'll introduce two different artists to you and to each other.
We're going to talk to both of them about their lives, their work, and learn as much as we can about how and why they do what they do.
And then we're going to work with them as they take on a project together and see what happens.
After that, we have a challenge for you, using everything we've learned together. We never know how things are going to turn out, but this time there are two talented artists, a double-sized project, and the stakes are twice as high.
I think you're being dramatic.
We'll see. For now, let's get back to Mindy.
I was a late bloomer in making my own music, but I was always surrounded by it as a child. My older sisters, they took piano lessons, and I also took piano lessons as a child up until I was maybe 12 years old, but never really formally trained or developed in music until later, until I was probably 16. I started to take it seriously. I auditioned for the chamber choir and didn't make it, and I auditioned for the school musical and didn't make it. So those experiences started to really compel me to take it seriously. So I got a job making smoothies to pay for voice lessons. I got an internship at a recording studio to kind of document how that process happens and started to just really make things happen so that I could be trained and could get better at it and could get into things when I audition.
I can't be held too tightly. My spirit quivers like a kite.
I was 21 and I was at a workshop pitching my music to a panel of judges and they tore it apart. After the workshop was over, the CEO of a record label, he came up to me and he said, "I really liked your work. I'd like to meet with you."
I take flight.
And then also a producer stood up and met with me and he just said, "I love this, I want to meet with you and help you hone in your songwriting skills." And he ended up producing my first record. And ultimately, I learned a lot from that experience. And I learned how music is marketed and how it's released. And I thought, I can do this on my own.
As an independent musician, it's clear Mindy has no shortage of talent or experience. But for this particular project, we'll need the abilities of another artist as well.
I'm Trishas Background. I am a stop motion artist. I have always loved making stop motion videos. As a kid, I would just use my parents' camcorder and I'd make them with like Legos and stuff. And it was really fun. And I got a DSLR camera and it didn't have a video function because it was a long time ago before video functions were like offered in DSLRs. And so I just taught myself how to rapid fire shoot and then piece it all together in software after and to create a video using photos. I had no clue I was making stop motion animations by taking a whole lot of pictures. But it just I just learned it organically. As I kept going with that and experimented with it and learned more about it, it just became something I really liked to do with anything. Like if I had anything to animate, I would animate it because I thought it was cool.
Just because it was fun, not because you were like trying to build a career here.
Never. So I guess like the story of my doing stop motion and putting it on the internet, it really started working with this blogger, Brittany Jepson, who's this incredible craft blogger here in Provo. I started interning with her and working with her a lot, and through that I was able to start building a social media following. If I were to do stop motion and no one were to see it, then I don't think it would have gone anywhere, but I was working with her really closely, and every time we had crafts or things on set, I would be like, "Can we maybe just shoot a stop motion just for fun?" And then she would put them on her Instagram and I'd put them on my Instagram, and it really started gaining traction. And people started really responding to that content we were creating and really liked the stop motion. And then eventually someone asked like, "Oh, will you do this for my company?" And so Chatbooks was my very first paying client, and I did 3 videos for them. I went in, I wasn't nervous, I was just excited to create something for somebody. So we created that stop motion, and then I would get emails. Every time I posted any stop motion, I'd get 15 plus emails of people being like, "Hey, will you do this for my company?" And so it just started snowballing from there. Social media has changed the game. I think for everybody, but for me especially, like without social media, I couldn't do what I do. Without that online platform to share and to build community around what I do, I wouldn't have the ability to do it.
Mindy, Trisha, Mindy.
Yay.
Have you guys met each other?
We have now.
Barely, yes.
Very good. You guys both know why we're here. You're a musician and you're a stop motion artist. So the most obvious and natural thing, possibly, would be to make a stop motion video with some of your music.
What do you think? What kind of music is going to be best for this, Mindy?
I'm thinking we're gonna go with Oh No. Does that feel?
I'm game. Yeah,
you're
that
game
sounds
for that
awesome.
one?
Oh no, I fell in love with you, and you fell in love with me. What shall we do?
It's very Mark Mothersbaugh inspired, which is a composer that's done several Wes Anderson films. And so I feel like it lends itself really well to stop motion. This song is really like my relationship with music. I mean, so that's personally what it is for me. But when I wrote it, it really was meant to be a love story.
Yeah.
So not only does it feel natural to me to do this, but it's actually been a lifelong dream of mine to do a stop motion music video.
We're checking things off your bucket list.
You are. And I've tried to have different producers tackle it before, and like every time people are like, it's just too much, it's too time consuming, it's too complex. So I haven't had anyone step up to the challenge yet. And then, la-di-da.
Now you make me feel nervous.
No, this is what Trisha specializes in, and she crushes it in this area. So I'm actually I feel like just so lucky.
Me
really
too.
Excited.
And also nervous, but we're gonna make something amazing. I know that. Whatever we do, it's gonna be amazing. Visually, there's so many possibilities that we could do with the music video. We could do something where you are physically standing, and we could even get a theater location or something and do something kind of like old school opera ballet where they drop things in from the ceiling. So the sun comes in and the
love
moon
that so
comes
much.
in, and then I know the Cupid comes in it as
Yeah,
well,
there's the
a
Cupid.
Cupid, and then we animate an arrow coming over you
Yes.
and striking you. I don't know. And then, or else if we wanted, we could do something on the ground if we didn't want to do you standing. And then we can play with things coming in and out of your hair. We can play with things around you. We could do it with real objects. We could do it with paper illustration. We could totally go not you physically in the stop motion, but photographs of you in the stop motion, illustrations of you in a stop motion, or we could play with both of those together. The options and possibilities are absolutely endless when you talk stop motion.
Okay. Oh my gosh. First of all, I love you because I really love this first idea about an old school theater and where you've got dropping things in. There's a line in the song that says we're caught up in the undertow. Mm-hmm. You know those old school ocean waves and plays that
totally.
People are in the wings making them go up and down. That could be so fun. So I love that so much. Yeah.
Will it be possible, do you think, in your production experience, to do all the stop motion stuff and the live action stuff in one day? Can we do all that in one day?
So I recently did a live action with 2 people, and it was actually very simple animation, but it was 15 hours of shooting straight. And that was to create 1 minute of video.
What's the earliest we could be done with everything? Does that make sense?
It will take a while. It will take a few days. It will take a few days of illustration, and then it will take a solid day of prep work in printing, cutting, spray painting the backs of everything so that it's good, and then lighting, setting, being set, and then the actual animation will probably take a day.
Yeah.
A full day. It'll probably take 10, 15 hours of animation for that one part.
Man, we've got our work cut out for us. So
We sure do. It's going to be awesome, though.
After a lot of hunting, we finally found a location that met all of our needs. It wasn't the old school stage we'd envisioned, but in a lot of ways, this sound stage was even better. It was time to get our supplies and get to work.
And so she falls into the water, so we'll inch the canvas up each frame, and then we'll have a splash that will animate. We have paper cutouts for that splash.
Is that where the fish come in?
That's where the fish come in.
I'm waiting for the fish.
You're why are there all these fish? Okay. I just didn't know. Okay, well, thank you so much, Carlos. I appreciate it. Hey, no problem. Thanks so much. We'll talk to you later. We aren't able to print our stuff today. Our files are so big that they aren't able to rip through the server, and we can't print them tonight, and we need them tomorrow. So we just have to figure out what we're gonna do.
So we got really huge things to print. We have this enormous ship. So this is the little version, and we need to print a giant version, one that's like as big as Mindy. And that's gonna be very difficult and take a long time. We have been here since 8 o'clock this morning. It is now 5. So we are officially at a 9-hour day, and we do not see an end in sight for today. There's a lot to do, lots to do, but we're reasonably hopeful that we'll get everything done in time, I think.
We worked late into the night until they kicked us out at midnight, which really wasn't the worst thing in the world because we were exhausted. We're way behind schedule, and it's a good bet the biggest problems are still in front of us.
So every project has to have at least one catastrophe.
I hope it's not catastrophic. I hope it doesn't sink the whole collaboration.
So the idea was that this backdrop would get dropped down behind Mindy during the beginning of the video. And then what happened, Austin?
We spent a lot of time building this backdrop and decided we wanted it to look a little more antique. So we covered it in wood stain, which proved to be a very bad idea. That is oil, and it does not dry. So this has been sitting all night. It's still very oily, and it's a fire hazard.
We were here at 8 a.m. We left at midnight, and we weren't making great decisions by the end of the night.
Yeah,
this was one of our not great decisions.
There were some decisions fueled by lack of sleep and fumes. This was probably one of them.
We don't have time for this to come to a standstill, but we also don't have a solution for this backdrop issue. And until we can figure something out, we are completely stuck.